What's up, guys? Weather Wednesday coming at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And we've got some little events coming up early this week, and I want to talk about them, see if they are worth doing. Now, first of all, as you can see, my pop-up when I logged into the game is a Prism Crystal deal. 60 Prism Crystals for $15. And we can go ahead and look at the summoning pool to see if that is worth it. First thing you will notice is that they are 30 prism crystals for a shard pull this time. And of course, we have a 6% chance at legendary and 94% chance of getting an epic. Now, what are the champions available in this week's pool? It looks like it is a defender's summon pool, and we'll go ahead and take a look at which ones might be worth summoning for. First of all, there's Stoutest Dragonbane. Now, I wouldn't mind having him on my account. He's particularly useful in Dragon, of course, hard Dragon. He would be great to have on my team. He's really good for speed runs. We got a fairly new champion, Gaiath the Truth Shield. Just kind of an ally protector. I don't think there's anything too special about Gaiath that I've heard, so I wouldn't be too interested there. I would love to get a Mishinaki on my hands. He is absolutely terrific in Hydra. And there's Feral the Barkhorn. He would also be quite useful in Hydra with that block buffs and the decreased speed. I wouldn't mind trying him out as well. Hellcath, of course, he kind of saw his day in Live Arena, but I think that's kind of faded away as mythical champions have become more and more important. But he, if you still need him for clan boss or for like Iron Twins or something, he's still great with that block damage. Kira is mostly useful as one of the legendary champions that you need for the Lady Mikage fusion, which if you saw my videos last week, you will know that I just finished that up myself. And Ragash, I would actually like to have Ragash. He isn't used a ton. I don't see a lot of him in Live Arena, but I think he could be useful for a lot of accounts. And then we got Kyoku, who isn't amazing, but as far as the Shadowkin faction is concerned, she's quite a decent ally protector, and I do use her in Faction Wars and Curse City, so she's decent. Now, when it comes to the epics, you got some hits and you got some misses. Burn Geary, not that useful. I think some people use him for early game Bommel soloing, but I think there are just a ton of better options out there. Sepulchre Sentinel has the block debuffs that you could use for a clan boss composition. Skull Crusher, one of the few champions in the game with the counter attack for the whole team, but he's kind of been outclassed over time with ally attack, and he's the only epic with ally counterattack, so he's not that strong, but he is somewhat useful early game for certain clan boss compositions. Hotatsu I've never really liked as much as some other people do. He's an okay epic defender, like good for faction wars perhaps, but not that useful. So Duck the Pierced, kind of similar. I did use him for a time in the Orcs Faction Wars, but he's not amazing. He's just okay. He'll get you over the line for Faction Wars. Seeker, of course, I personally use him in my clan boss composition, and he is very popular for those unkillable teams. Tayrel, he hasn't been that useful in a very long time. You might be able to use him in Faction Wars or Curse City or something, but he's not that great. Trumbor, I don't think I've ever actually pulled this guy. I think some people do like him. Another ally protector. And Morag, she has She has some ability to be used in like a clan boss team, but she's also very good in Cursed City. Even top end players use her in Cursed City for certain levels. Huskarol, I've built and never really used. Like, he's okay. He can hit a little bit, but he's not like that amazing. Grush is a free login champion, so it's kind of lame that they put him in this defender's summon pool, but he can be useful in faction wars. Not that great. And Sandlash Survivor, again, can be kind of a early to mid game, not just faction wars, but also clan boss. So a lot of these epics can be used toward building a clan boss team. But is this summon pool really worth it? I would invest money into this, but there does seem to be an event, or at least one event, where you can get some prism shards. And with a 6% chance of a legendary, you might want one of these and see what you can get. Personally, out of all these, I would really like a Mishinagi, and I wouldn't mind a Stoutus Dragonbane either. And I think Feral would be pretty good. And I would take a Ragash if I got one. I don't need a second Helicath, not really. I don't really need a Kira. I've got Kyoku. I'm not that excited about Giath unless I have missed something. So that is my opinion on those. Now, coming tomorrow, Ancient Shards. It looks like there's going to be a 1+1 event where you can summon a legendary and you get a bonus legendary for free. Now, personally, I've only got 40 Ancient Shards saved up, and I'm only 20 or 30 deep into Mercy, so I'm not even close to it. And I really only recommend doing this 1+1 event if you have enough shards to get to Mercy. Otherwise, it's better to save it for a 2x event. It is better to save it for a fusion event. But I'm not going to just throw away my 40 ancient shards, knowing that I'm probably not going to get a legendary, let alone the second free legendary. So that's something that I would only do in case that I had plenty of shards to get me toward Mercy, where I'm guaranteed to get that 1+1. Even though I think that from my experience, whenever I do a 1+1 and I actually hit it, it's usually 2 legendaries that I couldn't possibly use on my account. They're usually terrible. For some reason, there seem to be boosted rates of bad former fusions. So I wouldn't really go for it. Now, there is also coming up a couple things. One is there's going to be a Dungeon Divers event, and you can see that there are prism crystals available in that Dungeon Divers event. And it says raid for artifacts and accessories and earn 100% more event points or mythical gear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a lot of Spider for this event, because it is much easier, much quicker for me to get mythical gear on Spider than any other dungeon, because my Spider run is much faster and I can do Spider hard 10. And so get double points. That's pretty cool. What else do we got going on here? And first of all, there is a brand new Sand Devil turn attack starting today and lasting for 3 days. And this is something that I am personally going to invest some energy into, because as you can see, there is a mortal soulstone and an immortal soulstone, and plus 500 immortal soul coins. And that is something that I have personally been trying to invest my energy into getting as many blessings as I possibly can. Now, coincidentally, there is also going to be a Soul Chase tournament tomorrow. If we pull up the Plarium Play calendar, you can see that under the Soul Chase tournament, there are more prism crystals available. So depending on the points necessary, it might be worth pulling those soul stones for getting these prism crystals. I'm going to wait and see what kind of points are necessary, see if it is worth it to me. I kind of feel like it is better now to wait for one of those events where you get boosted rates of getting 5 or 6 star blessings. And I think that this is a little bit of a bait, but I'm going to go ahead and wait and see if the rates are realistic. So I'll go ahead and hold off until tomorrow to make a final decision. Probably not the best time to pull, but as you can see, you can get prism crystals from Soul Chase, Ice Golem starting tomorrow, and the Dungeon Divers also starting tomorrow. So what I'm going to do personally is I'm going to get the Sand Devil runs out of the way today, and then tomorrow I will see if I feel like doing the Ice Golem tournament. If you look at this again, you will see the rewards available, but what you won't see is that there were going to be boosted rates for reflex gear, which is not something that I'm super excited about. Reflex gear, I would rather, I typically would rather use relentless gear than reflex gear. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, I don't super care about reflex gear. So my focus would probably be more toward just running Spider for the quicker Dungeon Divers points, but we'll see what the rewards are when they become available. Maybe it'll be easier. It says challenge rules. Okay, so you can only use epic champions, which makes it a little bit more annoying to me. That makes it even less likely that I would do Ice Golem tournament. But I'll think about it, see if I can come up with an Ice Golem epic team, see if it's worth it, see if it's fast enough, and we'll figure that out tomorrow. Now, the Tag Arena tournament is still going on, but the regular arena tournament and the Fire Knight Turn Attack tournament, those ended yesterday. I was able to win my classic arena, and I got 5th in Fire Knight Turn Attack. So I'm pretty happy with those results. And that should be just about it for today in Raid. There is actually plenty to do right now. I'm really glad that the event for getting the soul for the last fusion, the Incarnate, was a pretty skippable event because she doesn't really need a huge blessing, especially because she's not super valuable in the game right now. Things could change over time. I didn't really go for that event at all personally. What I'm going to do is I will probably just see if I happen to summon one day, or I might just buy like a 1-star soul for her in the Altar of Soul market here, the Soul Merchant. But I'm not super worried about it. I only did that fusion just for something to do, and because you just never know when a champion might become useful. It was a pretty easy fusion to do, in my opinion, but it's not like the most... The Incarnate's not that important of a champion in the game right now. Of course, things can always change, and that's why it is typically wise to go for fusions if you have the resources available, because they're pretty easy ways to get legendaries, and you just never know when they might be useful. And of course, tonight there will be a reset for your clan shop and your clan quests. So if you haven't spent the energy, I would go ahead and do that. Perhaps run a bunch of Sand Devil with that today if you have a good Sand Devil team. And otherwise, finish up your quests. And there should be new quests tomorrow, which is great for me personally, because I am on the Merriest mission where I need to earn 650 clan gold from clan quests. So I need to do that as quickly as I can tomorrow, and so that I can continue on with my Merriest missions. So that's it for today in Raid. There is some news out there about the coming clan war whatever they are going to call it, I'm not sure, but there's some sort of clan wars coming into the game, so that'll be interesting when more information comes out. They did release a little bit of information today, but I just felt like they didn't give enough information regarding what we actually do. There seems to be some sort of defense towers and stages and layers to it, but they didn't tell us what we'd actually do in that. So I'm going to hold off on my thoughts on that until we actually have relevant information. But that's it for today in Raid Shadow Legends. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Weather Wednesday. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you look at that number above my head, that is my current sub count. I am trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of summer, and it is quite a challenge, but perhaps you could help me today by subbing to the channel, and I can come back with more Raid Shadow Legends content. See ya!